What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be going over quarterbacks and who should draft who and what team needs what quarterback. So let's see what they have to say.
The Giants don't want any of these quarterbacks so that they don't have to use extra draft capital to move up, and they can use the 17th pick that they got for Odell for another impact player. But I cannot imagine a scenario. You keep Eli to be a mentor for a young quarterback. A young mobile quarterback? No, a young pocket passing quarterback. I don't know, how about a guy from Jersey who's worn a Giants jersey to tell people he wants to play for the team and seems to say all the right things and just worked in a classical kind of pro system, throwing the ball down the field? Duh, of course it's Haskins to the Giants.
Well, that was very, very entertaining soliloquy on your part, Max Kellerman, but once again, you're making very, very little sense. Here is why. Because before we get to your New York Giants, we have to get to all the things you said about Jameis Winston in Tampa, who picks 2 slots ahead of the New York Giants, or at least one slot, at the 4th or 5th. I think the Raiders are 4th, Tampa's 5th. So in other words, if I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't let Dwayne Haskins get to the New York Giants. All because of the things that you said. Max, this is one of those arguments where I can literally get a tape of you talking about Jameis Winston, and then I can come back to you and say, are you sure it's the Giants? Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a pick before the Giants. And according to you, they desperately need a quarterback because you have no faith in Jameis Winston. Ryan Fitzpatrick is no longer there. This was the #1 passing attack last year in yards, okay? Now, we know that's fool's gold because they were one.
I would go with Winston still. I'd give him another chance. I'm just not sold that Winston's going to crumble. I would still work with him. Let's keep going.
Team early in the season, first 3 games when they were racking up 500-plus yards of offense, and Ryan Fitzpatrick looked like the second coming to Dan Marino for 3.5 games until he ran into Pittsburgh in the first half of that Monday Night Football game, even though he almost made them come back in the second half. But outside of that, with a Mike Evans, with an O.J. Howard, with a Humphreys, with this guy, with Godwin and these boys, these brothers, they've got weapons. Deshaun Jackson.
Hold on, Humphreys is gone, right? Yeah. Steve, let's keep going.
God bless him. Didn't want to be there anymore. Had nothing personal against anybody. Jameis Winston listen, he's made some mistakes in the past years ago. The bottom line is he seems to be moving in the forward direction. We wish him nothing but luck. We're just talking football here. As a quarterback, we look at him and we see bright spots, but at times, 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, doesn't seem to be that level of consistency there. You're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with those weapons that you have, particularly Mike Evans. Why would you let Haskins fall to the New York Giants when you got a pick ahead of them? Why would you do that?
Because I would go with Winston a little bit longer because he's too good of a quarterback. He has too much potential. And those, 19 touchdowns with 14 interceptions, that's film work. You need to get in and watch film and choose your target, choose your plays, choose your targets a little bit more better. I think that's film work that he needs to work on. So let's keep going.
All right, well, both of you guys are wrong, and I love you for that. Max, the Giants are not taking Dwayne Haskins at 6.
And who's that little troll in the middle? I have no clue who that guy is. Let's keep going.
Although I love him as a player, if the Giants take a quarterback at 6, it's going to be Drew Lock. You hear Pat Shurmur talk about how important the athleticism is and quarterback needs to move around. That's Drew Lock's game out of Missouri way more than it is Dwayne Haskins. And I really think Dwayne Haskins is a nice player. For Tampa Bay, no shot they're taking a quarterback, Stephen A. Right. Bruce Arians has loved Jameis Winston since he was in high school. It's one of the big reasons why he decided to go and sign down in Tampa Bay. They do have some pieces. Humphreys has moved on to the Titans, but they have some pieces. Yeah. Let me tell you 2 teams. I get to pick 2 teams because I'm a guest of this show today. They gave me inside information. I could pick 2. Cincinnati Bengals, Miami Dolphins. Cincinnati, so you're restarting essentially with Zach Taylor as your head coach. Andy Dalton's a good quarterback, but you kind of have an idea what Andy Dalton is, who he is. If he has 25 touchdowns and 10 interceptions this year, he's got another good year. But why not reinvigorate your organization with a young quarterback that played at Ohio State, which is in your state, and kind of regather some momentum for your football team? So I look at the Bengals and then the Dolphins. Everyone talks about rebuild and whatnot. That sounds great until next year comes and you have the 4th pick and all that capital that you've tried to gain in draft picks. You have to get rid of it to go move up and get one of the quarterbacks that you may like in a Tua or Jake Fromm. But you've brought
Yeah.
the New England Patriots wide receiver coach Chad O'Shea down, who's going to bring an offense. You got to think. Dwayne Haskins is very intelligent. Those are two teams that I look at that Dwayne Haskins should go to.
Who are the two
Bengals
teams
and the
again, Dan?
Dolphins.
Bengals and Dolphins. Stephen A., here's your problem about the Jameis Winston point.
No shot.
Agree. If I were running the Bucs, I would take Haskins and get rid of Winston in a second. But clearly the Bucs have doubled down on making Winston, for some strange reason, the face of the franchise. I think it's a bad idea, but that...
Because Winston's a baller. He just missing one little key element that he needs to get ironed out, and he should be good to go. I have faith in Winston. I give him one more year before I go for a quarterback to take over for him. Let's keep going.
the way they're going. Now look at draft order. When you talk about the Bengals and the Dolphins, the Dolphins make the most sense to me. However, Cardinals drafting first. They're taking Kyler Murray. The Niners have their quarterback. The Jets have their quarterback. The Raiders are finding out about Derek Carr now. I think
Derek Carr should be good. He has all the potential in the world, and we saw it, 2 or 3 years ago. It's just when he broke his leg and hurt his back, he completely fell off. But his potential is there. So I have faith in Carr. I definitely have faith in Carr for the Raiders. Let's keep going.
They're going to use that pick on a quarterback. The Bucs have doubled down on Jameis Winston. The first team that comes up who's looking for a quarterback is the New York Football Giants. The Dolphins or the Bengals would have to orchestrate a deal to jump ahead of them.
But what I'm trying to say to you is that, listen, you got people thinking this is Jameis Winston's potentially his last year in Tampa. They could go all in, from a financial perspective. This is last year in Tampa. Whatever quarterback you got, you draft is for the future. So as far as I'm concerned, you're looking at Tampa. Just weeks ago, we were talking about Derek Carr. And we were questioning whether John Gruden, he came across as having faith in Derek Carr, but he almost had to because some of the things that he was saying wasn't indicative of a coach that had faith in his quarterback.
Yeah, but Chucky was saying that for his whole team. That's why he got rid of Mag and Amari Cooper. Also, I think they should Tampa Bay should definitely stick with Winston. And Max is right. New York probably should go for Haskins. He does fit the bill. And he lines up perfectly with them. So let's keep hearing what they have to say.
I know Humphreys is gone, but the bottom line, you still got Evans, you still got O.J. Howard and these boys. I'm looking at the weapons that they have in Tampa. I'm looking at the fact that Deshaun Jackson wanted out. Remember, he was supposed to get $10 million, but it wasn't fully guaranteed. They were at 3. They were willing to come up to 6. That's as high as they were willing to go. He wanted more money, got $13 million from Philadelphia. But that wasn't the only reason he left for Philly. He left wasn't because they wouldn't guarantee the $10 million in
but
that.
They're not taking a quarterback that early. There's no way. Jason Light is not taking a quarterback and going, Jameis, you're gone.
No.
He's got to win this year to keep his job.
Time out. The question was, which team should? I leave it to you about what they will do, but the operative word is should. And I'm saying in terms of should, I would look at Tampa as being that one because Derek Carr at least had an MVP caliber season a couple of years ago before he got hurt.
You can make the case for the majority of the teams. They're picking top 10, top 12 for a reason that they should. The likeliest, the teams that it's actually going to make sense to, those are two different stories. Should, the Cardinals, they should at 1. The Raiders should at 4. The Giants should at 6. The Jags, don't forget the Bears a couple years ago signed Mike Glennon to a free agent deal, then went and moved up and got Trubisky. You can make the case that